But the second one is the Avatar live action. I
Talk about
think
it.
it's below average.
Oh
I think
my.
it's below average. There are a lot of things that it does right. I think they really nailed the look of the world, in my opinion. The bending's great. And dear God, Zuko's whoever they casted for Zuko, that dude is carrying that show, in my opinion. He is carrying that thing. And the only reason I'm saying him is because Sokka doesn't have enough time to join him. But if I did a tier list, it'd be Zuko and Sokka up by themselves. And the big thing that I said, and when we talked about the trailer, Miles, they needed like 4 more episodes. You can't do a whole book in 8 episodes. Like for instance, the first episode where I understand that we're gonna watch it because we know we're the diehards. We're gonna watch it no matter what. But for the casual, I think if they spent the first episode just showing Aang before he gets frozen in the ice, I think they should have done that. They should have given from the point where Zuko, by the way, that's episode 6 is my favorite, where Zuko goes in to rescue Aang from the prison. That's fantastically done. But I think they should have let that breathe because all of a sudden Zuko rescues Aang, and then all of a sudden they're at the Northern Water Tribe. And I think they severely underestimated how much it was going to take to truly adapt it. In my opinion, it was underrated. Soccer is not moving me. I'm like, yo, get off the screen. Let me watch somebody else,
You
please.
mean Katara?
Katara,
Qatar.
all right, Katara. Katara's not moving me. Aang, Aang is definitely not moving me. And Moon Peaches, I know you're watching, and I know I fought against you when you said what you said. But in the live action, make Zuko and Katara get together. That's my hot take. Make them get
Bro,
together.
you're
Because
gonna piss off
unless you're
like
gonna
your
age up
entire
this
fan base,
kid,
bro.
unless you're gonna
Please
age
don't
up
feed
this
her
kid
ego.
to get with Katara, I'm out. They don't have, in my opinion, they don't have any chemistry together. And
He
Aang
can
works
hear you,
best when he's
nigga.
allowed to be a kid, what he actually is. But once he starts doing like some Avatar stuff, I'm like, get him out. Get him out. This is not working. There's some really bad reshoots. This is them things like if Santo was on here, he'd tell you there's some bad reshoots. Like one of them was like Madam Web quality, bad. And like the green screen stuff. But I think in terms of nailing the look of the world, the bending, some like the more special effects aspect of it, you can tell that's where most of the budget went to, and they did a really good job. But in terms of the story itself and the characters, um, the main three, Sokka's carrying them when it's all three of them together. He's carrying the load of them because they like the minute he walked in, they're like, oh yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy that we want to play Sokka. And then Iroh was another good one. I love his relationship with Zuko. They really played that well, which I was worried about because that's such an iconic character. But he
Right.
did a really good job, in my opinion. The bounty hunter, I thought she was great for the limited screen time she got. But in terms of and one thing that really bothers me is the firebenders, the weapons that they're using. Y'all went to Party City to get them weapons, didn't you? Y'all went to Party City. Y'all could have pulled up to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon old set and take some of them weapons. Like they look, J Rob, go look at them. You'd be like, these are some things you see 5-year-olds run around with because they're clearly plastic and you're not trying to hurt. They're not trying to hurt each other. Like there's some little things that I was really kind of looking forward to that they didn't really hit.
You
Some
missed the
bad
biggest one, random. Zuko's scar.
Zuko's.
That little
You,
ass blip.
you could
You don't like
tell.
it.
You
Someone
could
just
tell
got
they
like a
knew it
little
was a
purple
problem
marker,
in,
just squiggled his eye. It
in
just
the
looked like a
first in the
regular
first
black eye.
episode. It was absolutely atrocious. And then the second episode, like let's do some work on it. But no, when I'm telling you, I need to see it nasty. That's how because he's so good, Miles. Zuko is so good. But
So
every time I
random.
look at
I
his
want
scar,
you to switch your perspective a little bit because me
mhm,
and Miles talked about it. There's two ways you got to look at the Avatar live action. How well they adapted Avatar, and how good is it as a show, right? So that when you kind of distinguish the two, because most live actions are terrible compared to the source material, right? The only good one we've seen is One Piece, but as compared to like all the other live actions and as a show, like is it really below average?
technically, I guess if you put it that way, no. But the problem is, I even struggle to see, like for instance, let me use my mother as an example. She's a person that loves to watch the first thing, the number one ranked thing on Netflix. She'll watch it. She didn't
Mhm.
like it. She watched it. She didn't like it. So I'm like, and my mom is a super casual. Obviously, my mom does not represent the whole population of casuals. But when she told me her problems with it, ironically, was Katara. She didn't like Aang. She didn't like she
Fair,
thought the
fair.
firebenders were wholly incompetent. And then I sat there and I watched. I was like, oh my god, they really are kind of. But then she loved the different avatars, which I really like that they did that with the different avatars. I really she loved Kyoshi. She's like, I cannot wait for the next scene I have with she loves Sokka. So I was like, I can see why. But then if my mom is saying that, how many other people who are not familiar with the IP are also saying that in terms of how they feel about the show? That's why, in my opinion, I think it's below average because the biggest thing is, I think if they had more episodes, I'd feel better. But doing it in 8, and Netflix has to understand, I get that the 8 episodes sounds cool and it's a new way to do things, but with these adaptations, I'm not saying you got to do a 24 because that's crazy, but even 12 would have benefited the show a lot more. Given the Northern Water Tribe that battle, 4 episodes would have been great, or even 3, right? Because all of a sudden Katara is water bending with the best of them. And I'm like, because I know because she did some training in between before the fight. But when my mom's like, how did she get this good? And I can't tell her because she doesn't like spoilers, but I can't tell her. And my mom's, how did she get this good as waterbending? She couldn't do a water whip goddamn 3 episodes ago.
She's ice. She's going crazy.
And she was going crazy. And I was like, damn. But also Azula, I liked the presentation of Azula, but Mei Mei,
I don't like Azula.
I'm saying this. I saw Mei Mei because Mei Mei is arguably my favorite female character in the show, and I saw her and I was like, oh no, I'm not trying to hate on the girl, but come on now.
What are you trying to say, Random?
It's not moving me. It's not moving me with Mei Mei. It's not moving me.
Nice way to put it. Okay.
It's not moving me, but I liked Azula. I liked Azula.
Another not a big critique, but could someone teach the Aang actor how to cry, or at least give that nigga some teardrops? At least give that nigga some teardrops.
Any emotion, Lonnie.
When he saw his dead master, this was him the whole scene.
You just, bro, you pulled up to the
not a watery eye in sight. I'm just like, this nigga's just huffing and puffing, no tears, pretend crying. Like, can someone just give this nigga a teardrop, something? Splash some water in his face. Do something.
I was annoyed with him. Also, Fire Lord Ozai, perfect casting for him. Like that, he's suave, but he's also playing his kids against each other. Devious. Every time he speaks, I'm like, this man is a devious dude, and that's a good actor because he's very good. He's mainly a TV actor from the things I've seen him in, but he's a very good actor. I think they did some casting choices they knocked out the park, and other ones, like I'm worried for season 2. This kid better age up. Aang better age up and get better at acting, or else we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, but the moment he becomes taller than Katara, it's cooked.
He's already almost there. Like if you saw, because I posted it in one of the chats, but if you see how much he's grown from when they first started casting until like a few weeks ago, he's already had like a big growth spurt. So by the time book 3 comes out, he's probably gonna grown a mustache. Like he's already grown a few inches. I think he was probably like 5'2". He looks like he's like 5'6", 5'7" now. So
that's always the problem. That's why I feel like moving forward, series should like say it's inspired by the source material, but not say it's adapting that source material. Because when it's fiction, you can kind of do whatever you want. You work at your own kind of laws of nature. When it comes to a live action, you're still working with the constraints of our normal world when it comes to the people. So just say it's inspired, use some elements from Avatar, and kind of do your own thing to an extent. I think that's the best way moving forward for live action adaptations because it's.
I will say one last thing, Jet. That is a light skin in disguise. That is a light skin in disguise. For a moment I was, oh fuck this guy, like just light skin tendencies from his look to the way he acts. I was like, this dude, get him out of here. But also, I liked his casting too. But there were just things that like going forward, I'm gonna have problems, and it's not unless. And Santo, to address your thing, you're saying the budget would have been crazy, but if they hit a lot of things right.
I have one question for you, Random, but it's about Avatar.
What's up?
So, do you feel like a lot of the alterations that they've done have made you feel like the characters aren't the characters anymore? So to give you a couple examples, them changing the situation with Zuko and Admiral Zhao from Agni Kai The way they set up the whole Boomy situation with him, revealing who he was not right away and not putting Sokka and Katara in the candy. Do you think that diluted the characters and changed who they are compared to the animated series?
In terms of the Boomy series, I liked the way they did it that way because I
Me
sat
too.
there, I was like, how the hell am I supposed to like the rock candy? How the hell am I supposed to kind of see that? I like how they did it, just kind of showing from the beginning, even that little flashback that they did where you see young Boomy and Aang kind of playing around. I like that a lot, and I think that really benefits from the live action. The Agni Kai. I'm trying to sit here trying to remember exactly.
So if you remember in the animated show, I forgot how exactly it came about, but it was an organized fight between Zhao and Zuko, in which
Oh, that's right.
like Zuko outclassed him, like he mops that dude.
No, if I'm being 100%, I like this version of Zhao until when he's like, I'm about to be the Fire Lord. I was like, all right, let's calm down. But I like he's a slimy cat, he's a slimy cat that's really shooting above his weight. And clearly at some point, even Iroh was like, you're not doing this by yourself. I like that version of him. Because I never really liked Zhao in the animated series for some reason, but I like this version of him. He's kind of slimy. He's clearly trying to blow up his accomplishment, right? And the best part of Zhao was like he's walking with the guy, right? And he's walking with his whatever, the guy that's writing down his accomplishments to send to the Fire Lord, and he's like talking. He's like, "Oh, we got to talk to the Avatar to get his stuff." And I'm like, I like this because he's just like. He's a guy way above his. He's in a situation way above his weight, and he clearly knows it. So when he finds out that Aang is gone, and his face when he freaks out, and that perfect one sentence by his guy that's writing the things like, so it changed or whatever the fuck he said. I thought it was funny, but that's how I treated him. And then the one thing that the one thing I really liked about the animated version of Zhao was that when the water spirit takes him in the thing, and Zuko holds out his hand, he does it. He's like, "Fuck that, I'm not gonna."
Yeah,
I wish they kind of did something like that with him in the fact that what's his name just burns him to death, and that's how he goes out. I didn't like that, but I feel like most of the alterations that they did, I kind of liked because they were clearly held together by the episode limit, and they made some liberties, and a lot of the liberties that they did I kind of liked. I'm really kind of mad that we didn't get to see Aang try firebending in the first season to just kind of show that. I think that would have been a perfect episode to show between after the Zuko rescues him from prison to the Northern Water Tribe section. That would have been a perfect episode to show like, hey, just because he can doesn't mean he should. So I like my biggest problem is when you're talking about the main three characters, two of them are bad.
I don't think Aang's bad.
I don't think
he's not as good as Sokka, but he's not bad.
Without introducing the firebending thing, are they just gonna stray away from the White Lotus story?
I think it's gonna still happen. I just think they're moving stuff around.
Also,
some stuff
by the end of the first season, Aang doesn't know anything about waterbending.
Nothing.
He doesn't know anything. So now you got to spend the whole second season. Is he staying at the Water Tribe to learn more? Or are we doing that in a time skip?
They're gonna just take it slow.
Bro hasn't even held water in his hand. What are we talking about? So
he did help Katara to waterbend.
Okay, so that's cool. He gave her some fucking wise words, bro. You needed to. That's why when they're at the Northern Water Tribe, bro, have him just give me a montage of him working with the freaking his master. Just give me a montage of that, and I'd be like, okay. But the fact that he, at the end of the story, tell me from the start of season 1 to the end of season 1, how does Aang get better at bending? He doesn't. He's just still an airbender. That's all he is at the end of season 1. He's still an airbender. And now we're getting ready to go do other things, and he hasn't learned waterbending yet. So now you got to spend season 2 teaching him how to waterbend before he leaves the Northern Water Tribe. Unless you're doing that in a time skip, which is a problem for me. That you're going to do that in a time skip.
What did you say, Ty?
He doing that thing off screen.
That's crazy to do that off screen. That's the Avatar, bro. What are we talking about?
It's implied,
journey-
bro.
his journey
Oh,
getting-
I guess they said that Katara is his master now. How the fuck she's not master level? She's not yet. Just that's the problem with me saying that they didn't have enough episodes to do it, because now all of a sudden she's going toe to toe with Zuko, and I'm like, what the fuck? I can't buy this. I buy it because I've seen the show, but when my mother is asking, how is she this good going up with Zuko? How is she this good? And I can't explain to her because I can't tell her the spoilers.
She was just learning the water whip a few episodes ago.
I can't explain that. And Zuko is obviously Zuko's still young, but he's a dog.
I didn't like
Yeah,
Azula.
Zuko's good.
I liked Azula, but I'm mad that we didn't get to see her in action. But I did like the fact that they showed, like, basically you got a repeat of the first episode where it was all a ploy the Northern Water Tribe attack to take Omashu, right? I like that. But I mean, if we got to see that attack, that would have been cool. Even if we got to see like a little bit of it, like where Bumi's like, "Oh my god, they were coming after us the whole time." They set it up a little bit at the end of the Omashu episode, but then we don't get to see it. All of a sudden, Bumi is how the hell they take the city, which is also a problem because I also asked that when I watched the show. How do they take the city? Because they also the Fire Nation's been trying to take this over for years, and all of a sudden the next time they come back, it's been taken. How the fuck they do that? Especially after what we saw was they kicked out all the spies out of the city.
Yeah.